Tell me now.
3, 2, 1.
What it do, people? It is time for the dynamic perspective with your girl, Diva Danielle. I'm in the building. It's a beautiful Tuesday. We're getting ready to end the month of May. So just take a moment and think about all the fantastic things that happened to you in the month of May. Whether something was expected or planned, it happened to you. If you got up this morning and you worked a full 10-hour day, give thanks to it. If you can stick your key in your apartment, in your house, in your car, give thanks for it. If you got a refrigerator full of food and you can feed yourself and your family, give thanks for it. And most importantly, if you are hearing the sounds of my voice and getting ready to watch this show, I thank you. So I give thanks to you. So, I want to talk about this episode because this episode kind of goes in line to a podcast I just watched yesterday from the Ladder Church segment. And they were talking about the subject, yes, you may. So I want you guys to really pay attention to what I'm saying here. And they spoke about May Day. When you call Mayday, 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 right? That's a sign for help. That's a cry for, I'm in distress. And I thought this segment would go perfect with this person that we're going to have on the show. But let me kind of lead you up to what's going on. Everyone in life has a May Day period. So don't sit there and shake your head and say, never me, it doesn't happen. May Day is in every language. It is universal. You say May Day 3 times, you are in distress. Okay? And we all have a season for it. But in that season, you got to take that May Day distress call, right? And you have to grow and glow from that. That means your light is going to shine because the distress that you went through is giving you affirmations and empowerment to move forward. I hope you guys are following what I'm saying here. So your May Day makes you have a glow where you are inspirational, where you're engaging, and when you're purposeful, right? And everyone goes through it at different times in their lives. So think of the word of May Day as your cry for resources, for affirmations, and to become whole with a spiritual alignment. So now I want to talk about this guest that we're going to talk about. And I made some notes. So if you see me looking down, yes, because, I got to make sure I get all these notes right. So this person that's coming on tonight, she took her May Day, her Yes You May, and her Afterglow, and she took it and made it a bright, inspirational, and engaging, purposeful passion in her life. From drug addictions in the streets of New York to single parenting in the sticks of North Carolina. I mean the sticks, y'all, okay? To, being a caretaker to her mom, who's now deceased, and to being a mother of a murdered son. Her May Day was loud, strong, and evident. But she took her May Day and her distress and made it a mission to tell her story, how she's come from dark places to now hoping to inspire you and tell a story so you could build your narrative. Your May Day is a dark period where you feel distress. But yes, you may is where you get your light from. And she's done this. She's no struggle to struggle. She's no stranger to struggle. She's overcome every obstacle that's been thrown at her. And when I say thrown at her, I mean hurled. She's overcome these things, right? Because of that, she is a community activist, an advocate. She's an author. She's a nonprofit founder, and she's an influencer. So now from someone who's taken the May Day distress call to the Yes, I May, to become this positive force in the community and to bring awareness and resources to her community, there's no other way but for me to introduce this following person as my sister, my friend, my motivator, my educator. I mean, my nurturer, she cultivates me, and she gives you the rawness and realness about what her experiences have been. So I want you to take this time and join me as I am so honored and happy to end this month of May, yes, I may, with Miss Annette Brown Morris. Welcome,
Thank
welcome,
you.
and welcome.
Thank you, Diva Danielle, so much. Oh my God, that was awesome. Yeah, my Mayday. I was crying for help.
The May Day, right? So I want people to understand why I want you to talk about your May Day and how that May Day catapulted you to write this incredible book, The Hand I Was Dealt With. And I don't know about you guys, but you guys need to read this book because I had to go back a couple of times and be like, what in the world and how did she put this on paper? Okay. I'm reading it from a person that knows this person, but not all of the insight of this person. Okay. So I want you to kind of walk us through that.
Okay,
How did you get from there to here?
my Mayday, I crying for help. It's weird, little breaking up.
Just okay. I think no, you're back now.
Okay,
we got you.
I lost you a little bit. Okay. So I was crying for help for a long time. My Mayday from so many struggles as from a child. And my book, The Hand I Was Dealt, I poured my life out on a little book. And that cry for help, it was like, whew, it was such a release. And it was written and inspired to help the next little girl, the next person that got a Mayday that needs help. Like, hey, you can do this. Just open your mouth and explain, tell somebody that you need some help. Let people know that what you went through, because you may be able to help somebody else. And what I've been through, I've helping a lot of people.
That is absolutely
a lot
true.
of people.
It's absolutely true. And you and I both know the neighborhood in which we came from. There was a lot of struggles going on there. I mean, everything was so rampant and not knowing where you were or who you needed to affix yourself with. And during that time, I think it was just a sense of wanting to belong so bad, or to feel loved, or even to remove yourself as the black sheep of the family. It's like either those three categories that a lot of people were subject to. So they kept a lot of the internal struggles and traumas inside, and they found other vices to alleviate some of those struggles. And in reading The Hand I Was Dealt With and knowing you and listening to a lot of the different conferences and speeches that you gave, I got to ask this question. How did you tell yourself, yes, I'm being emotionally, physically abused, and now I need to recognize I need to change? When did the lack of a better word, light bulb go off and say, I know this is happening to me?
Wow. Well, that light went off a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah. I think when I was like, okay, well, I knew that what I was going through at home and growing up as a child, this is not right. I was 14 years old and I was running away from the chaos at home. Let me use that for a better word.
Okay.
From the outside looking in, everybody thought, whew, everything is so great. Oh, I wish I lived in that house with the 2-car garage up on the hill. But at 14 years old, as the baby child from a prominent family, one of the wealthiest black families in Staten Island, I ran to the community down the street looking for a way out.
Mm-hmm.
And the substances came. That was a crack epidemic. And it was through all of up until 27 years ago when I got pregnant with my last child, my daughter. I said, okay, you got to stop this, because my first 2 children were with their father and he was divorced from me because of my addiction. And my last son, my mother and father, they'll take care of baby boy. But when I got pregnant with a girl and she's 27 years old, I said, oh, you got to stop this. You got to stop this. You got to do something different. And I got clean. Yeah. So that was the first time.
Okay.
But then 8 years later, So, hello. I had 13 years after my daughter was born. And I'm breaking up. I found myself in North Carolina and not happy there. And I got introduced to people. That's what they do in the South. They get high. And I found myself back at it again. And after 8 years of doing that in North Carolina, I said I wasn't built for this. I wasn't meant for this. And then my son was killed. My father died. My mother died. And it sort of like clicked again. You got to do something in that. You can't stay down. So I got clean again. I'm going on 7 years this time.
Congratulations.
Yep. So the lights went out, but the lights, I like I encourage people, and my story was written to let people know that no matter what you've been through, and purchase my book, The Hand I Was Dealt, Annette Brown, on Amazon, or I could sign you copies and send it. It was written to inspire people, because people think that because they're down, they have to stay there.
Yes.
And I thought that for a lot of years. Um, so when I wrote my book, it was like, yo, people need to hear this, because from the outside looking in, people think everything was okay. And she just got a crack problem. But why is this 14-year-old child out there even indulging into that? I was 14.
Right. And
from one of the best families. Yeah.
And that goes to, and I always use the analogy that our cosmetics hold so much trauma, because we pile on these different masks and these different type of lack of a better word, colors, shades, and fashions, to not address the real trauma in which we're going to, right? And then we take that same trauma and we don't realize how the trauma is affecting the family. So then the family becomes dispersed, because no one wants to have that conversation about the trauma that's been happening, right? And it happens, like you said, in the most prominent families too, where, anybody can experience that. So let me go into my next question. What resources or support system were most helpful to you during your traumas? What did you find comforting? What did you find realistic and authentic in your recovery process?
In my recovery process, the resources were people who've been there before me.
Okay.
That's in addiction from drugs. That's in the grief of losing a child to violence. It was people who've been there, that were living, that been through this, that I had to cling on to with everything I had. Like, okay, I want to find peace. Okay, I want to be able to say, okay, I could swipe my card when I want to. Right. That's a big thing now. It's like, okay, I eat what I want to eat. Wow, I was caught up on the corner begging you for your change. And people look at me today like, ma'am, you're not telling the truth. Yeah, I am. And right? Danielle, Diva Danielle knows that. Like, wow.
Yeah, like, wow.
So, clinging on to people who were actually living a clean life, clinging on to other mothers who actually been through what I've been through, is how I got through a lot, and telling my story. Yes. Like, telling because they told me, you can't, and growing up in African-American households, you were told to not, what happens, like Vegas, what happens here stays here.
To this day, it's like taboo to have any conversation outside of your house with someone else. That's why counseling is not very well accepted in the African-American community. I don't know how many times I've heard someone say, what am I paying a counselor for? I'm gonna be okay. Or the counselor's not going to relate to what I'm saying. But that is probably the biggest part of the healing process, is when you can purge out all of these things that are stifling from you to changing.
Acting up tonight.
And it's a journey. It's definitely a journey. Speaking of journeys, how did you face writing your book? Like, what challenges did you have in writing this book, knowing that this was your life?
I went to therapy.
You did? Okay.
I'm still with that. I'm still with that therapist today. It took me 2 years to write my book. I published it April 2022. So I guess I started writing in 20 during COVID.
Yes.
And I published in 2022 and it's 2025. So I've been with my therapist for 5 years.
Okay.
I went through therapy. It was the darkest walk writing it. But when it was published and released, that weight came off of me like, whew, whew. And it brings me in tears. Just to know, wow, and I'm not but 5'1", 140 pounds. Like, you experienced a lot of trauma, Yeah, therapy. And I'm not gonna, people say, oh, in African American families, we don't go to a therapist. My therapist helped me through each and every chapter. And you were a part of while I was writing. The community, Let's Talk with the Net was with me while I was writing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, let me go back. The community, the people, my followers, the people who used to tune in every Thursday night at 8:00. All contributing into me being able to put my pain into a purpose and put it on paper and print it. And just thinking about, wow, the emotions are coming now because, phew.
I remember those conversations that we would have about how us as women really need to support each other in talking about different traumas and going through different traumas. And I know for me, the traumas I went through as a child and listening to your traumas, I said to myself, there is someone that understands all of the envelopes that I've been holding for many years. Mm-hmm. And now I can start letting these envelopes go. And that one conversation, I think we both ended up crying on the phone, actually, because we were talking about the relationships with our mothers and how that kind of, formulated what we thought mothers were supposed to be versus what mothers do. And then how it changed for you when your mom passed and how it changed for me, after my mom came to live down here. And that difference in how mothers are so vital in the lives of our children, right? And how they affect the way we think and the way we move and the way we speak. And oftentimes we don't realize the significance of a parent until, in your case, when your mom was deceased, all those things tidbits that she had gave you, right? And now I'm starting to see those, from my mom, and she's getting older too. So I appreciated those conversations as you were in the process of writing this book, because I felt that this was very therapeutic for me to have someone understand exactly what it is and how difficult it is to be a mother of color. There's always some type of challenge that we have to go through, not only being women, but being women of color. So for you to come through these different traumas and be able to pen it and then now give it to other people to read, not only does that become a blessing, that is a lesson on so many different levels for so many different people, and it could touch so many people universally. And I don't think you realize how strong your words brought a lot of peace and a lot of clarity to a lot of people, even from when you started, from Let's Talk with Annette to now all the things you're doing now in the community. So I know there was many challenges as you were writing the book, but if you could give one message to those who have not read your book yet, what would that be?
One message to, you broke up a little bit again. One message to those who have not read my book.
Yes, to make them want to come read your book. What would be the message?
If you want a bestseller, something you can read while you're sitting on your toilet instead of playing a video game, you need to buy my book. Like, whoa, you'll get through it like, oh my God, I need to hear some more. What? Yeah.
Okay. Keep it funky. Come on with it.
Oh my God, my phone was ringing. People were calling me crying. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. And I'm like, God delivered me. Don't be sorry for me.
Don't be
He
sorry for
saved
me,
me.
right? Don't be
He
sorry
never
for me.
left me. Don't be sorry for me. I had to go through everything I went through to be where I'm at today. I mean, the lives that I'm touching today, I'm in different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, I made a difference. So all that I've been through, it's like even the loss of my son. Here I go. Um, because somebody needs to be there for the people
For the
coming
parent,
behind
yes.
me who
Yes.
does not have a clue or believe that they can get through it, because boy, I got through it. And I'm not ashamed about where I've been. Danielle, Diva Danielle, just the other day, I had a young man that read my book try to hurt me, call me all kind of dope fiend, crackhead, excuse we live, whores. I was like, oh,
Okay. Okay. At least you know he can
yeah,
read.
I didn't.
I'm just saying he can read.
Wow. And I was like, wow, but his mother's addicted.
Okay.
Still. And I said, okay, and I had to analyze that because I help people analyze the situations now. He's taking his anger out on his mom.
Through you?
On me.
Mm-hmm.
And young man, I'm gonna pray for your mom.
And and it's unfortunate because no one wants to admit that they have any type of failures or any type of flaws. Like everyone in their mind is perfect. I tell you, every morning I swear I think I look like Beyonce, but I know when I get out of the bed, girl, I'm looking like LaWanda Page from Fred Sanford. I'm saying, I ain't gonna lie, but everyone needs to just take a minute to say, I am flawed. I am not perfect. And when you say to yourself, I am flawed, that's when you know you're going to get the assistance from your Mayday call, right? While you're in distress, so that you can say, yes, I may, right? So everyone that's listening tonight, I want you to understand that being flawed is okay. Calling for Mayday is okay. It's how you take that experience and make your light shine. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So now with all that, I want you to tell me about some of the community stuff you've done and the difference you've made with all the people that I see you on Facebook getting ready to do a adult literacy class. You were just handing out food to the homeless not too long ago. You're doing conferences. Do you sleep? Because you
No.
Okay.
No, I know. I know. And I'm like, okay, I'm available. And whenever you need me, 2:00 in the morning, I'd be like, no, they did not really ring my phone. But they do. 6:00 in the morning, text messages, and I'm like, no, really? But I put myself out there because I remember when I was the forgotten one. And there was nobody there, the lost one, nobody cared about. So I'm there to feed them because I remember being hungry.
Right.
The literacy class, my literacy class, is one guy, I can't say by his name, but I've been at it now about 2 months, twice a week. He comes to sleep. And they're like, he can't sleep in class. This is where he gets sleep. So he needs his 2 hours nap, because I remember needing 2 hours of nap somewhere and I had nowhere safe to go and clean. So I do so much. And my mother's a part of my group. I'm there for them. We're there for each other. Parents of Angel Children, our support group, every Saturday. There's a lot of places they do once a month, once a year. I lost my son to homicide. I need to speak to somebody every day.
Preach.
But I provide a space for them every day. With good morning, how you doing? Good night. I hope you had a great day. But every Saturday they're in a safe place where they can come, how their week was, how they're feeling. The anniversaries coming up, birthdays coming up. We play bingo. We do arts and crafts. I'm providing a place for people that I wish I had.
That makes
I'm
so much
feeding
sense.
people, that are hungry, man. And it's like, the guy that shows up and takes his nap twice a week for 2 hours, I believe he's going to be my greatest success story.
Okay.
Because he pays attention, and when I see him, between literacy class, he's alert. There goes my teacher. But we're changing lives, and I find my healing in that, because I remember being those people.
And I'm glad that you led with that, because one of the questions I've always wanted to ask you is, the more lives you touch, do you find a complete healing coming over you?
Man, I feel like me and Mother Teresa's was twins.
No.
I know. I mean, Googling her and researching her, and I'm like, okay, I guess she died and we left here, and I don't have a lot, but what I got, and that's when I'm at my happiest. And my husband, he's like, I just give it, he can't fight it.
Right.
We go bankrupt, credit cards being red and all of that, but my people need love.
And that's the most important thing, because as you know, the Lord takes care of those that takes care of others. So he will always make sure and provide you have as you're doing for others. And I'm a testament to that too, because, I find myself giving to so many people that I meet through, the nonprofit sector. And I say to myself, but you know what? They ate, they got a job, they had a word of affirmation today. Oh, these clothes went to a good cause. Oh, I gave somebody, a laugh, a cry, whatever, because you can't put a price on that, right? Because there's no price on that.
No.
But when I lay my head down at night and I thank the Lord for the day, I'm like, you made my day purposeful. You gave me a reason to get up and do what I do, and I tell people every day in the morning, and you see some of my morning meditations, like sometimes you just got to get right to be right. You just can't walk around here, acting like everything good and keep it funky and your shit stink. You know what I mean? You cannot do that. And you got to treat people the way you want people to treat you. And we tend to lose that. We get caught up in all this social media and the haves and the have-nots, and I should have this and why this one have that. And, we sometimes have to take a step back and say, well, first off, do I deserve it? Did I work for it? Did I ask for it? Did I pray about it?
Yeah.
And am I worthy of it? Instead of assuming that we're
right. That's it.
Have, okay.
Are you
this
worthy of it?
Too much. Are you worthy?
Because so many people have so much, and they're not worthy.
They're not worthy of half the stuff they have. And I say to myself, we don't go back to the essence. We don't go back to reading. We don't go back to handwriting letters. Everything is so technology, where you'd be able to have a face-to-face conversation with someone, or pick up the phone and talk to someone, or go visit with someone. Now you can shoot them a text. There's no meaning to it. There's no feeling behind it, but yet they feel that they're worthy of that. And why is that? Why do we take worth and worthy and confuse the two? And I think that's where people don't understand worth and worthy and confuse the two. Because your worth is something you put on yourself. Worthy is something that you're gifted from. And people don't understand the difference in that.
I want to be deserve it. Yeah.
Right. Do you deserve
it? Yeah.
Do you deserve it? So tell us about like some of the things you got coming up in the future. Like how can the people on this podcast help you? How can, they reach out to you? What could this audience do to help you continue to grow your nonprofit there in New York?
All right. And I'm looking around and I'm in my little office for real. And I'm like, I don't have a flyer. Everything. All right. So we are Parents of Angel Children. And our website is up. but it's being revised. So, but you can still go on our website, parentsofangelchildren.com. And you can email me, parentsofangelchildren@gmail.com, if you're interested in getting involved. Just ideas. We're always looking for sponsors, donors. We're in the state of New York, but I live in New York, but we are North Carolina, Ohio, Texas, Arizona, Canada, Tennessee. We are in multiple states. We travel. If you have something that you have going on, or in your state where you want to start something for parents who've lost a child or trauma victims, we will travel to you and get with you. Connect with me, parentsofangelchildren@gmail.com. We love to travel and set up in different states. I got to get to Virginia with Dynamic Diva,
Yes, come
Diva
on down.
Danielle.
Come on down.
We have right now. Yeah, it's coming. I mean, we're only May 24th was 1 year that we signed our paperwork. It's a 501c3.
Yep.
And this has been a one-man show, but I'm starting to connect, and I have Albany County legislators are getting involved, in personal private foundations. So people are seeing the work that I've done since last year and the work that we're doing. We had a drive-by shooting that killed a community barber in the barbershop, May 2023. So June 21st, we are doing a community cookout. It's also going to be celebrating Juneteenth and celebrating our 1 year as a 501c3. You want to make a donation? We can use hamburgers and hot dogs. Send them through Walmart or whatever. We can accept. Inbox Diva Danielle. You can inbox Danielle and let her know, I want to donate some hamburgers and hot dogs to Parents of Angel Children. So we're going to be doing that in June. And then we're going to start. We're going to be starting a women's health. So that's going to be posted. Follow me on Facebook, Annette Brown -Morris, and Parents of Angel Children. Everything that we do is there. Through our website, you can get you can link with me, and any information I can send to you. What we got going on, what else? Others who've lost their children, under any circumstances. Every September we go to a different part of the country, and this September would be in the mountains of North Carolina. Any parents that's watching this, or somebody who lost a child that can use a vacation for 2 days, all expense paid, just get there. Everything else is on us. Inbox us, message us for that. We do a weekly support group every Saturday morning. That's via Zoom. Parents of Angel Children on Facebook. We just stay involved in the community, so we can, every donation helps us. $1 is not too little, and $1 million is not enough. It's really not. The more you give me, the more I'm going to bless the people. I do stuff that I don't even show on social media.
And that's
I had a little boy in my community with these shoes this big on him, and it was like, okay, what's wrong with this? Yeah, so the little boy got new sneakers and a couple of new t-shirts, So every donation, every dollar, we spend it to the organization. We spend our own money.
Yes.
And we go bankrupt, and I don't mind, because that's what helps me heal. And I know that my son, Wayne, can I show that?
Yes, please show this.
I'm in my little office. I want to show you who keeps me going. Yes. So this is what I watch while I'm working.
Gorgeous.
And gorgeous. Yeah. So I lost my dad and my son the same year, 2014, and that was mailed to me by one of his friends. So my angel surrounds me, and every dollar for Parents of Angel Children is spent towards helping people heal.
And that's the biggest thing.
Spread love.
That is the biggest thing. And you and I both know, as nonprofits, the hardest thing in the world is to keep the going, and you end up taking all the monies out of your own personal pocket to, keep these organizations going. But I don't think people realize that the more you give, the more we empower, the more we bring a dependence, not only in encouraging them to get the mental health resources that they need, but everything else that comes with that. Because we're, society wise, we're always saying there's a problem, there's a problem, there's a problem, but yet we're not trying to get a solution for the problem, or we're not trying to, come up with ways to raise money, right? But you look at, like, all these politicians that want to, take all this funding away and do all these things now here, they're only affecting the same communities that in a few months they're going to be going out asking for the votes of the same people that they just took all these things from. So, it's very hard for any nonprofit to really, stay afloat. So I would encourage anyone that is listening, please, 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 please support. But $1 is okay, but $1 million is not enough. I love that saying. That is so true. Before we close out,
it's the truth. It's like the more people we can help.
That's it. And it's also, it's about, being purposeful and wanting to be with the people who feel that they're not being heard, or they don't have a sense of belonging, or they're just lost. And when that person finds someone that really understands that I was lost too, and now let's find each other, and so you can find yourself, that makes a bond that is so unbreakable, because the mental health and the spiritual alignment come together. And you and I both know those things must be together when you are working in a work in progress for yourself, but when you're also out in the community, because you have to see them as beautiful creatures instead of what society calls them. We have change the mindset. We have to be able to want to get our hands dirty to be better, and I'm so honored to, have you back, to see the things that you're doing. You are so freaking awesome. It's like, I'm just loving on you all the way here in Virginia. I love you to death, to the moon and back. I can't wait for you to get out here so we can do some things here in Virginia and shake some stuff up. But baby, we're going to shake some stuff up. We're going to rattle some trees.
Let's look at, 2026, or I'm doing a women's health something. I don't have an address on where I'm doing it at yet.
We can talk about that. Virginia gets really nice around here.
Yeah.
Okay,
we talk about it.
We'll talk about something.
We can.
But just know that watching where you've come from to who you are today is the most inspiring thing for me, because outside of this podcast and all that stuff, I see the most incredible, beautiful, phenomenal, resilient woman in front of me. And that's what you give me every time I see you and I speak to you. And I love you to the moon and back.
Thank you. Likewise, Diva Danielle. Likewise.
So before we get ready to close out, do you have any last words for the people?
No, it's just an honor to be here, and it's an honor to be back, and you're going to see more of me. Please follow me on social media, because this what I've been through is not just a local issue. And, I plan on getting out there. And if you need, somebody to come speak at your organization, at your event, on overcoming, because in my book, The Hand I Was Dealt, I should have my book here with me, but I don't. That's not right. It's The Hand I Was Dealt by Annette Brown on Amazon. It's a life-changing memoir. It's a testament to survival, to faith, to resilience, to overcoming. Because as I think back, it just brings me to like, whew.
Yep, that exhale, right?
I'm still here with a right frame of mind, because 90% of the people who were there with me are no longer here.
True.
And the other 9%, because I'm that 1%, I'm so grateful. And it's because God had other plans for me to be that testament, to be that person for a lot of other people. And I really have reached other countries. Like, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Ain't that something?
Mm-hmm.
So you look at, I'm sending virtual hugs, baby. Virtual
Thank
hugs.
you.
Virtual hugs.
Yes, ma'am.
So I definitely want to thank you for, being on the show. We're going to talk about possibly bringing that little,
Yeah, we can, because I don't know what to do with it yet. Yeah, I will.
But
Yeah.
everyone, please, please, please look for Miss Annette Brown on Facebook. Parents with Angels on Facebook. Let's Talk with Annette on Facebook. Please, I'm going to be posting where you can find her on all my social media pages so that you can make a donation to the upcoming event that she's having. Again, $1 is okay, but we want that million. So let's
Yes, we do.
get to that million. Okay, let's get to that million. Okay. But in closing, let me want to kind of read you something I did in closing. And I hope everyone is, has exhaled and inhaled, because this closing was very serious to me. My passion for being a community advocate comes from a deep desire to uplift, empower, and connect people with knowledge, resources that can improve their lives. While I have personal experience and emotions like everyone else, I thrive on helping individuals navigate challenges, whether through personal, professional development, workforce empowerment, emotional resilience, or spiritual alignment. My purpose is to be reliable, insightful, and compassionate. Someone who listens to hear, to provide clarity, support, and meaningful conversations. Whether it's helping structure a phrase for acknowledgement, refining a workforce development, helping you with your resume, or offering guidance to a sensitive topic such as domestic violence, survival skills. I want to bridge that gap with understanding and provide organic and authentic solutions to meet you where you are, to help you design your blueprint. I want you to get to know your local nonprofits. I want you to be able to call Mayday when you're in distress, because yes, you may is going to be where you find your light. Please take the time out to just find yourself, balance yourself, most importantly, center yourself. Get into a good book, get it out there and network and resource, but don't let your worth make you feel that you're worthy. Until next time, I'm Diva Danielle. I want you to have a really great weekend. Peace.